Hi there everyone, welcome to Vampire, the Masquerade, Shadows of New York. This is the sequel to Vampire the Masquerade, Coteries of New York. Let's play a new game, shall we? Welcome to my castle. Don't expect everyday logic to work here. It went out of the window sometime after midnight, maybe earlier. My kingdom is not of this world, you see. It lies far outside concrete, tangible reality. I've tried to identify the way people reach it, and am convinced it has something to do with the moon. Some say the moon's aura can turn them insane. You have heard the phrase moonstruck and lunatic. The way I see it, moonlight gives them some subliminal permissions to reveal their true selves. And so, whenever they let the silver radiance guide them to the gates of this place, they feel different. Once they pass the doorstep, they're ready to act out. A dance of horrors and marvels begins. It's 3:31 a.m. Welcome to Big Beat Burger. If you're here at this hour, you're not exactly readying up to be a productive member of society come tomorrow morning. More likely you're praying that the sunrise never comes. Insatiable children of the night gather round, hoping to bask in the afterglow of tonight's victories. Unwin after a frustrating series of failures, or simply fight to keep themselves together. There's something wrong with my nose. Meanwhile, I'm just sitting here, greedily reveling in every interaction they have. They have no idea they're only here for my amusement. To them, I'm just a random girl sitting in the corner. But this is my domain. I've been coming here almost every night for years. I know where to sit, where to look, and where to eavesdrop for maximum amusement. I'm basically a voyeur, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. It gave me insight about the human condition I would never otherwise have gathered. And more importantly, a necessary skill set to make ends meet as a journalist. As I write on my crappy old laptop, patiently waiting for the legion of negative voice in my head to get too tired to offer useless feedback, I keep my sense peeled to pick up stories around me. Of course, a lot of regular events, such as food fights, are nothing to write home about, aside from my unfortunate tendency to become collateral damage in someone else's battles. Up to this day, I have had to wash my clothes because of Coke, Diet Coke, hot coffee, apple pie, and some sort of improvised honey mustard bomb. Every stain tells a different story. Sometimes this hobby is exhausting. Sometimes it's disturbing. Sometimes it's dangerous. Although not as risky as back when I wasn't carrying pepper spray. Still, the sights I've taken in over the years here have made it absolutely worth it. I've got so many stories. I don't know where to begin. Theatrical breakups, impromptu morning parties, unexpected friendships forged in the fires of senseless battle. A lady in a gorgeous Givenchy dress ordering a box of takeout chicken nuggets, paying in cash with her hands completely covered in blood. She was asked if she wants a napkin. She said no. Two thirsty macho dudes shamelessly going for it in the corner. Hush moaning, filling the lobby while everyone around valiantly fights to act as usual and maintain an illusion of normalcy. A straight up kung fu fight between a diminutive cashier and some drug bodybuilder going through a psychotic episode, trying to break all the windows. The big guy left the joint fully convinced he KO'd himself, while the service worker was just standing next to him, seemed proud of his victory too. A middle-aged hag, getting a heart attack after screaming her lungs out not to let Muslims near her food, just because she saw a white girl wearing handed behind the counter. A masked couple robbing the restaurant of 30 hamburgers, forcing the employees to cook at gunpoint. Police later said those were art students reenacting some hipster book they read. This is life. This is humanity at its worst and best. This is the noise that serves as the foundation for my creativity. This is the soma that keeps me going. This is... As pathetic as it may sound, these days, this is the only place where I feel alive. Sometimes, I think of myself as a leech, feeding on these people's stories, emotions, and personalities just because I am not satisfied with mine. At times, I think of my psyche as some kind of shitty postmodern construct that is fundamentally incapable of honesty, but only yearns for something felt and truthful. Does this even make any sense? I look at the screen of my laptop. 3:47 a.m. At this point, I'm almost somnambulic, but nothing interesting has happened yet. Feels like all the customers are watching each other tonight, hoping for the others to provide a fun diversions. This is my turf, you parasitic douchebags. Next time, go find your own. Think it's time to call it a night. The coffee I always order so that they don't kick me out is undrinkable. Ugh! I reread the rough draft I've been working on for the last 6 hours. God damn, this is poor trash. I hold the backspace button until the Google Documents page is nothing but a calm white slate and let out a sound of deep relief. You know, you could have pressed Control plus A and then, highlight the entire document with your mouse and then press backspace once. That should save you sometimes. There's no pleasure more intoxicating for a frustrated writer than ragging on someone even worse than them. And what target is easier than the dumb bitch you used to be 10 minutes ago? I check the time again. I need to go. I have an important meeting tomorrow at 10 a.m. and I have a hunch it's not going to end well. And it's not because I'm an irresponsible dumbass who is going to need a few cups of coffee to simply function on a basic level despite like 4 hours of sleep. It's because I always have a hunch things are not going the way they're supposed to. Click, clack, click, click, clack. The loud clatter of keyboards assaults me from all sides. Makes this splitting headache unbearable. Used to be. I dream of nothing else but being a part of the New York Modesta editorial team. It was the first magazine I started reading regularly. The first magazine I ever bought for myself. Now, simply hearing the word Modesta is enough to ruin my mood. Never mind seeing all these old farts phoning in more reactionary opinion columns and Wikipedia level analysis of current events. Click, clack, click, click, clack. They used to destroy and rebuild my entire worldview every month. They shaped my thinking about politics, art, journalism. They even pointed me toward my favorite cigarette brand, for God's sake. And some talented people start living for greener pastures. Some got too wrapped up in their own narrows. Some became complacent. All of them committed the sin of allowing themselves to grow older. Fresh blood was deemed unnecessary, even though young freelancers kept being bled dry. These days, whenever someone from outside Lodesta talks about Lodestas, it's because of a few idealistic contributors willing to accept meager pay while putting in serious work. Dumbass. Other than that, the magazine specialized in publishing pale echoes of provocative ideas I heard somewhere else a few years prior, wrapped in an aesthetic that hasn't been cutting edge for a decade. No wonder the readership is in free fall, but even though the ship is sinking, the old guard won't let it go down without a fight. As in, if anyone from the outside attempts to board the vessel in hopes of fixing its course or its holes, they will be swiftly taken care of. I should know. Been there, done that. As it stands, the only full-time staff member who doesn't make me regularly attempt to crunch my face off with his writing is Lodesta editor-in-chief Brian. I suppose Brian Wynn? The man sitting in front of me right now. Of course. He only has time for editorials these days. A drop in the sea of needs. Managerial duties hit him hard. It's the second time he lets out a theatrical craft like this. He has said his piece. Now it's up for me to react. And I'm coming up blind. But what do you want me to say, Brian? I'm pissed off. I can tell you have already made up your mind, but you still want to go through the motions just to make me feel listened to. Whatever. Let's do this. Brian, the guy is guilty of major fraud. The man is a sexual harasser, Brian. You're protecting a complete POS here. Persons of interest, maybe? I don't know. Or something. Piece of shit, maybe. I feel stupid that I even have to say this out loud, but you are essentially covering up for sexual harassers, Brian. No, I'm not. No, just face it. Let's say the Harvey Weinstein story appeared on your desk instead of reaching the New York Times. Don't you compare me to the Times. You know that's a low blow. You are asking for it, and you're not exactly in a position to talk about low blows here. You know that's not the core of the issue. You are avoiding the core of the issue. No, I believe I've pinpointed in a precise way. If it were up to me, I would greenlight the article here and now, and we wouldn't be having this conversation. But you're killing the article just because some rich shithead told you he doesn't like it. Get real. This is not about some millionaire jerk calling me to make me an offer I can't refuse. What is this about then? Because it looks awfully like it's about my bosses telling me this outlet can't afford the legal action we have already been threatened with. So, millionaire interference. Oh, for crying out loud, Julia, don't make me treat you like a child. You know how this works. I publish your story. It's Theo versus Gawker over again. A lawsuit here, a lawsuit there, until we're bled dry. I have a mortgage. I have 3 mouths, waiting to be fed at home. I have an amazing team that doesn't deserve to be torn apart over some. Don't you think it's telling you mention your mortgage first? Silence. Just asking questions. I know better than to get into these empty semantic arguments with you. Miss Sawinski, you are good at them. The problem is, you're still not good enough. Meaning, you're too in love with weaving a good story and establishing a seductive narrative to let facts get in the way. You have got enough boring seals with no principles on board these days. They always give you facts because that's all they can do. I'm using facts as a way to approach some kind of truth. Except facts can blindside you. And Double Spiral has enough facts to water down your story to the point where it makes no sense to publish it. The HR and PR are working overtime to deliver a convincing counter-narrative, and they're doing a great job. Won't mitigate the damage completely, but will put every little thing in question. Jesse Montgomery is a racist, a fraud, a sexual predator, and a downright satanic fuckhead. Julia. Let me say it again. Jesse Montgomery is a racist, a fraud, a sexual predator, and a downright satanic fuckhead. Do you personally believe it or not? This is not. You have listened to the tapes, you have read the transcripts, you have seen the documents, you've got the files. I am asking for your personal opinion. Do you believe it or not? Click, clack, click, clack, click. Of course I do, but that's beside the point. It's not. Look, how about I just say it out loud and save us both some time? We're not having this conversation because there's an actual conversation to be had. You set up this meeting knowing every damn well there's only one way it's going to end. You've got a mortgage and 3 mouths to feed. You prioritize the well-being of your direct surroundings over some nebulous concept of greater good. I get it, I really do. Yet for some reason, it seems like you're only prolonging this conversation and rationalizing your decision so that I forgive you, officially exonerate you. I'm not the bad guy here, Julia. So what are you? What are you then, in your own words? A man who does what is necessary to protect his own. So I don't count as your own anymore. He mutters something under his breath, ending with a self-pitying chuckle. I don't know if you would even want to walk under a scumbag like me from now on. No, come on, don't turn this into a pity party. No, I'm absolutely a scumbag. And why is that? Because I'm firing you. My thoughts are scrambled. For a brief moment, the state of my bank account displays before my eyes with startling clarity. A howling void opens in my chest and starts traveling towards my stomach. No, don't panic yet, you idiot. Get more information, now. There must be a catch. And what about my work? Let me get this straight. Ever since we met, I've been working on stories and pieces no one else in your office would touch it with a 10-foot pole. Constantly interviewing total nobodies, always busy traveling to the middle of nowhere or regretting my last trip, repeatedly ordered to clean up someone else's mess. Julia, all your long-winded spiels about how the disposable work is the most important work, and suddenly you only remember the disposable part. My feelings about the quality of your work remain the same as ever. It was vital. It kept the magazine going. I will always appreciate it. Then why would you threaten to fire me? I would never threaten you. It's a done deal. They have made their decisions perfectly clear. They? What they? Who is this they? He glanced left and right and then points upward for a short moment. When he speaks up again, it's in a hushed voice. You know, the big kahunas can't really question them, and they wanted your head on a silver plate. It's not looking me in the eye. You're not joking. I would never joke about stuff like this. It's real. Fucking hell, it's real. Damn it, damn it, damn it. Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it all to hell! All these years, all this grind, all my plans, and for what? Fucking asshole. You know, I deserve better and I always deserve better. And it always ends with me going down the drain back to the sewers. Fuck! No. Take a few deep breaths. Don't lose the plot now. Keep yourself together, you idiot. The moment you show weakness, they go for your throat. Get back in control. You can't do this. I wish I didn't have to, but it's a lost cause. No, I mean it's impossible. Julia, you can't fire someone who has never been hired in the first place. It takes him a few seconds to put on his "oh, I get it" face, let out a trouble gas, and start massaging his temples. Lotus Star has been my biggest source of income for the past few years. That much is true, but technically nobody has ever hired me here. It was all freelance jobs. A full-time position only served as a kind of a dangling carrot. A promise of a decent pay grade, career perspectives, maybe even some kind of insurance to save my failing health. And the recognition I would get for being a part of the Lodesta team. A position that everyone around me seems to respect, aside from me. And why did I want it so much? There will be time to mourn what could have been. For now, I should act like I don't care. You know what I mean. If I let you work even under a fake name, it'll be a guillotine for me. This is ridiculous. You know I'm going to start shopping this story around the second I leave this room, don't you? Of course I know. I told him. And in response, let us worry about that. Well, that doesn't sound ominous at all. Click, clack, click, clack, click. I do wonder if I could get accustomed to one of these loud mechanical keyboards some people here love to use. Whenever I did my work in here, I was still expected to bring my own crappy laptop and sit closer to the lobby. Always on the outside, no matter how hard I try to break in. A vibration in my back pocket feels like a bad omen. I decide to ignore it for now. I've been working on this fucking story for, I don't know, 16 months. On and off. I know. You kept cheering me on. I know. We have even agreed on the pay I would receive. I know. I'm 2 months behind on my rent. No, wait, 2.5. I catch him off guard. He's momentarily taken aback and then gives me an empathetic stare. Don't you look at me this way. You don't have the right. I didn't know. Well, now you do. Look, if there's anything I can do to help. If you can't tell your big kahunas to fuck off, I don't think there's a single thing. Julia. I pull out smoke and light it up. Gotta get back in control. Please, don't do that. There's a smoke detector here. No worries. Nick turned it off a few weeks ago. Probably the most creative thing he has done in the past 5 years. Good old Nick. The perfect 21st century cinema reviewer. Never has an original thought of his own, just relies on his poorly algorithmic taste to stay likable. And the best thing is, it works. Funny, I used to dream about his job. It was Brian who killed this dream, making me realize Nick won't be unseated anytime soon, and offered to teach me the ways of an investigative journalist instead. Wasn't the career I ever wanted to pursue, but to my dismay, I turned out to be surprisingly good at it, until this Montgomery thing happened. Serves me right. Lesson learned. Should have pursued my dreams instead. Stop it. Nicholas is a good friend, a respected critic, a member of my team. And put out that smoke. People tell me I let you step all over me. Why do I even let you act this way? Because you once told me honesty is most important in a mentor-student relationship, and that it works both ways. And because I thought we were friends. He bites his lip and stares sideways to avoid my eyes. At the end of the day, bosses aren't friends. Must have been a terrible mentor if I didn't even teach you that. You're still responsible for me. Oh no, you're not getting off this hook that easily. You are still my mentor. And I will make sure you take responsibility. You're getting rid of me, at least point me in the right direction. I need to get my shit together fast and I can't do it on my own. Fair. I might have failed as a guy, but I would do what I can now to leave you stranded, okay? There are options. None of them are a remedy for all of your troubles. But, wait a second. Another vibration in my pocket. Another foreboding feeling. This time, I reluctantly take the smartphone out of my pocket. If it has to rain, why not let it pour? A new email. It's a lengthy one. And the sender? Speak of the devil. No. This can't be. Christ. I just got an email from Myla Lopez. She claims she has just been laid off from Double Spiral. Same as Mike Antonoff and Jared Rivera. What happened? I spare you all her insults, okay? The key thing is, it seems that HR knows all the confidential information about my journalistic investigation and use it to shut everyone's mouth. Hell, apparently Montgomery walked up to Lopez as she was emptying her desk and told her to thank me for being a, quote, dumb and careless cunt. Brian goes pale. I think he has a very good reason to. You fucking scumbag. You outed my source? What? Of course not. What are you even saying? Oh, don't you dare play coy. It must have been either you or me, no one else. And you know the way I work. My investigation was basically untraceable, both on and offline. Carefully picked meeting spots, encryption upon encryption, every direct quote rewritten 5 times just in case. All sorts of red herrings scattered around. I know my shit. You know I do. And this timing? Did you just pass a flash drive to your beloved big kahunas during a meeting as a sign of goodwill? Look, I get you're upset, but why don't we just talk this through calmly? Alright, sorry for... No, fuck you. Fury takes the wheel and I'm just here along for the ride. I can't do anything about it. In a deranged way, realizing you're just a passenger in your own body feels liberating. Let's just see it all unfold. Calmly? Fuck you, Brian. Julia. I've been paranoid for months and months, acting like everyone I didn't know was an assassin or a corporate spy. I know I haven't messed up. Not in a way that would implicate all of them. You goddamn. You thought you could get away with this? I haven't done anything improper. Don't push the blame on me. So what? You're claiming it's my fault because you're never the guilty one? It's always the bosses, the economy, the obligations you have. And now, me. You're being silly. Quit with this Martyr bullshit. Calm down or I'll have to. You immoral shithead. You motherfucking... Calm down for God's sake. And so it goes. I yell out a lot of words I wanted to say for a long time but yet held back. I fling a lot of insults I've been workshopping for years. hoping I would never use them. I break a few things. At times, for a split second, I see pity in somebody's eyes. It's gonna haunt me for a long time, but in the heat of the moment, I don't care. These people? No, this company has nothing left to offer me. So at least let me take this catharsis. In the end, a security guard has to escort me out of the building, and that is the end of my journalist career. I just feel like my world has crumbled into nothing. I mean, you have every right to. Like Jesus, if I were you, I would have already broken down into a sobbing mess. I would love to, but I'm on a subway, far too proud to cry in public, even now. And it's stupid, but I feel like someone out there keeps destroying everything I hold dear, just to see my reaction, like it was a prank show, and someone was waiting to record me crying. So, out of sheer spite, I'm doing my best not to cry. Fuck you, whoever and wherever you are. That's the most Julia Sawinski's thing I have ever heard. Spice is the greatest motivator, huh? Not feeling particularly motivated to do anything right now, to be honest. I just want to stay in my bed until my shithead landlord calls the cops to forcibly evict me. No surprise, shit. I know that whenever life decides to fuck you over, it's always one thing after another. But this is too much. How much is too much? Let's recap this last week of June 2019. I've been kicked out of my job. Well, not that I have ever been hired. So let's just say my mentor broke every vague promise he ever made to me. A big thing I had been working on for a year and a half went down the toilet. It's all useless. My boss didn't protect my source properly, and now they keep trying to reach me through every possible channel to threaten me or just yell at me, and they have every right to react like that. All my psychics were shut down. Nobody's replying to my emails. Someone's been dragging my name through the mud behind the scenes, and it worked. I still have no idea who's sending shitty message around. I've been asking, but listen, don't worry about it. I'm not going to stand idly by and watch you get cancelled by some mean-spirited delusional. I said don't worry about it. I have 3 unread messages from my landlord. The message previews was stressful enough. A call came from Chicago. Apparently, Dad has bladder cancer. Mom is in hysterics. She would go crazy if she heard about my situation, so I have to pretend everything is okay whenever she calls. And she calls every fucking day. And she just won't hang up before she offloads all her burdens on me. And I can't blame her, because we all have to learn to cope with Dad's psychopathic tendencies somehow. I was robbed. All my documents and what little money I had, gone. Don't even know when or where it happened. And it's driving me crazy because I'm always extremely wary of pickpockets. The list goes on. I don't want to sound paranoid, but it really feels like a concerted attack. Paranoid is good. Anyway, I know you always hand wave this topic away, but just remember that if anything happens, my place is your place. You don't have to get through it alone. I do. I have been a trouble magnet, and as self-centered as I may be, I don't want it to affect you. I know. Listen, I have another call. Alright? Just call me if anything happens. No matter how dumb it seems, okay? And swing by whenever you can. I will. Thank you. See ya. I put my phone away Exhale and blankly stare in front of me. Christ. I glance at my reflection in the window. Just look at this idiot. Whenever the situation requires me to dress formally, I still feel a bit like a child cosplaying as an adult. Should have just followed the dress for the job you want advice and continue dressing up like a trust fund kid who keep partying on Brooklyn rooftops for years without care in the world. It's only after a while that I realize the car is empty. And naturally so. I start feeling uneasy, but someone enters my peripheral vision. And that is the last thing I consciously register. The world dissolves. When I come to, I'm out of the subway, standing in a back alley I don't recognize. It's pretty dark. My eyes start adjusting, and I try to figure out what happened. There's a gun in my hand. A faint silhouette at my feet is not moving. Somebody stands in front of me, covered in shadows. I can't fully make out her face, but she's staring at me with visible intent. She speaks. Her voice is raspy and androgynous. Her tone hateful and mocking. Aren't you a nasty one? What is going on? Who are you? Don't play coy. My mind goes blank. I look at the ground. There's a body riddled with bullet holes, and I recognize who it is. Was. The corpse belongs to Mike Antonoff, one of the double spiral whistleblowers. My source. He was just threatening to get back at me a few hours ago. Before I can feel even the tiniest bit of compassion, I face a terrible realization. They will think I'm guilty. Oh my God, am I guilty? How is this real? What have you done to me? You have done something to me, haven't you? Back in the subway, that was you, wasn't it? A man is bleeding out at your feet and you're turning this around on me somehow. I haven't done anything to him. Again, don't play coy. You knew him, he was mad at you. You started telling him sob stories about your situation. He wasn't having none of it. You got mad. Things escalated. He died. This isn't true. It's plausible, but that doesn't make it true. Or does it? This is just a nightmare. It doesn't even make sense. It must be a dream. And if it isn't, the person in front of me must be responsible. There's a faint voice in my head screaming that it's her world, that I'm just living in it. What the fuck have you done to me? Nothing yet. But I will do what I can to get you locked up for life. This is a murder in the first degree with special circumstance. Her detached voice and nonsensical tone only reassures me this can't be real. I refuse to believe it is. Before I even manage to think this through, I point the gun at her. If I did murder him, you wouldn't be acting like that. You wouldn't be standing in front of me. You would be running away, calling the police, begging for help, yelling that I'm a psycho. Oh, you are a psycho, but I'm not a coward. I won't let you walk out of here alive. This doesn't make a single lick of sense. Tears well up in my eyes. Why are you doing this? Because sometimes one has to confront what they really made of. There's no two ways about it. She's gotta be nuts. Slowly but surely, she starts walking toward me. Stop right there, or I will shoot. Go on. It's the only way you can get off the hook, isn't it? The only way you can survive. But you will definitely prove you're the monsters I claim you are. What the fuck is this tone? So controlling, inauthentic, patronizing. I'm serious. For your own sake, you better be. She keeps getting closer. Maybe I did kill Antonov. Maybe I don't deserve to live. Maybe it's less tiring not to leave. Maybe I should just let her take care of me. Maybe I will just wake up. Or maybe this insane reality needs to be rejected as violently as possible. Maybe a world that wants to destroy me deserves to be destroyed. She's right in front of me. It's now or never. Shoot her or don't shoot her. Yep, this is a tough call to make. Let's see what happens if you decide not to shoot her, alright? I won't shoot, just help me, please help me. I will. She yanks the gun out of my hand with ease. Her strength is horrifying, actually, and turns it against me. Then she pulls the trigger. With a gaping hole where my heart used to be, I fall down onto Antonov's body. If it's any consolation to you, if that's the way you are, there's no chance you are ever going to amount to anything. I have just hastened the inevitable. You are low life, not even worth drinking. I'm just angry at myself for wasting so much time and resource to give you a second chance. Sierra wanted me back in Chicago as soon as possible. She'll have to wait a bit longer. Well, I have no idea what she's talking about, but I am in no condition to care anymore. You're dead. The comfort of death will come for kind and kindred alike. Can we skip this? I know now that I should not do that. La 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 la. This game, it is taking its sweet ass time. Alright. Let's wait for this again. Maybe I can skip it just like last time. Oh yeah, by holding the left control. Alright, it's now or never. I close my eyes and squeeze the trigger. A loud bang echoes through the alley. I'm afraid to look at what I have done. I've been to a shooting range once and felt absolutely horrified with pistols. Such a small thing, but it can easily punch a hole in the fabric reality is made of. Never knew I would be able to use it against another human being. The very thought makes me want to puke. You were a right choice after all. I'm so glad. You haven't allowed yourself to break, but you have crossed the line I needed you to cross. There's a silent flame in you that could become an inferno if left unchecked. I sure hope it will. She's still alive. Her voice is coming from behind me. She puts her hands around my waist, and her cold mouth touches my neck. I can feel my shirt getting violently torn off. I don't understand, but I'm too dazed to protest. That was your final test. Congratulations, you have proven yourself worthy. I can feel something sharp sliding into my neck. It's not too painful, just startling. Think, a doctor pushing a needle into your vein without proper warning. Then it hits me. Poor bliss. The dopamine receptors I've considered completely fried until now suddenly recover and start bombarding me with pleasure I have never known before. I finally let the tears go. They come flooding. They've been waiting for years. It is such a relief. Is it raining? I feel like I'm in the middle of a deluge. at least, washing away all my fears, all my sorrows, all my anger, all my pain, all my ego. I become one with the world and the woman behind me. She's holding me tight, making me feel like the only important thing in this world. Everything else blurs. I feel something intense toward her, something I have never felt before. Is this love? I hope it is. This is not you, hish, a familiar, cynical voice in the back of my head. But it's okay. I never felt particularly fond of me anyway. New York, you're perfect. Please, don't change a thing. He who laughs in the shadows always has the last laugh. Hallelujah! Praise to be. When everything is cliche, nothing is. Isn't that the ever-distant utopia I've been chasing all along? People on the other trains, I hope you're doing fine. God, shut up. Just enjoy it. You finally understand. She's making love to me. She's giving birth to me. She is burying me. No, she's sucking the blood out of your neck. She's making you another vampire. I'm pretty sure I've been dead for a while. I'm pretty sure I could stab my own corpse in her hands from a distance for a moment somehow. And then I'm alive again. She lifts her mouth from my neck. No way. I taste blood in my mouth. Was I drinking her blood too? I realized that whatever this was, it's over, and I have to bask in the afterglow while I still can. I also immediately understand that I'm going to chase this fleeting feeling for the rest of my existence. Finally, she lets out a whisper which concludes the ceremony. No matter what happens next, don't forget, you are a monster. But you were lucky enough to be born into a world of monsters, so don't you ever mourn that fact. Embrace it. Once again, I find myself in the Big Beat Burger. Familiar surroundings, face I recognize, mood same as it ever was. Still, I process it in an entirely different way. It all frustrates me now. Or more precisely, it makes me frustrate myself. It's like I'm clinging to the remnants of a cocoon I have outgrown. Ugh. It's the same with these cigarettes. I don't need them anymore, so why do I keep holding on to them? Fucking hell. It's like I refuse to accept that I'm something better than I used to be. A vampire. Just 2 nights ago, I met Karen. She embraced me, by which I mean turned me into a kindred. She calls herself my side, and me her child. Last night, she taught me the basics of survival, drinking blood, manipulating humans, banding steel, controlling shadows. Tonight, I expected more lessons. Instead, she just told me to go out and enjoy myself. What is the catch? I asked, to which she responded, I might kill you if you prove to be a disappointment. There are a few rules. I have to uphold the Masquerade. I can't contact anyone I knew as a human. I can't let anyone realize I'm not human anymore. I can't embrace anyone, and so on. Otherwise, I'm free to do whatever I want. But for some reason, the first thing I did was come back here. Old habits die hard. Karen is probably watching me from somewhere even now. The way I understand it, tomorrow night she is supposed to introduce me to the Camarilla, a local society of vampires. Turns out they are the ones who have been systematically ruining my life lately. All a part of some secret evaluation that I barely pass. Just imagining the rich they have makes me dizzy. After they destroy the old me that I barely care about, Karen rebuilt me anew. On one hand, her task left some scars that will take time to heal. On the other hand, maybe I should just be grateful. I am snapped out of my thoughts by a sudden scream. Some douchebag yelling about his French fries not being salty enough. I think this is my cue to leave permanently. Goodbye, BBB. Hope I never see you again. I'm destined for greater things, you see. Ah, the same thing again. Woohoo, yes, yes. Oh, how I love the stories. Ho ho ho. The risk of swiping right. This Tinder addict smells like A bit of a loser. B, a wannabe intellectual. C, the perfect source of nourishment. Dance, macabre. Time to swing a little more on the devil's dance floor. The club beckons. Retributive justice. A madhead bully and his unfortunate victim. I probably shouldn't interfere, but what a better chance could I find to test what I have become. Let's do this. Two men are facing each other in a dark back alley. One of them stands with his back against the wall, his chest heaving as he's struggling to catch his breath. People! Anybody out there? I'm being robbed! A brawny, rough guy is yelling at metal staircase with a theatrical incredulity in his voice. I have no idea what that word means. With a lively step, he dances around an older man who's having trouble finding his footing. What is this bullshit? Oh, so now you can talk. Good, because I'm dying to hear what you did with my wallet. Holmes. Wallet? I have no idea. What are you talking about? The goon starts prancing around like a Muay Thai boxer. He's smiling, but his eyes send a clear message. You're cornered, buddy. Don't even try to pull a fast one on me. Come on, homeboy. You may be able to trick an average Joe on the street with your act, but a fighter recognizes a fighter. It's like an animal thing. It's an instinct thing. You've got some moves on you. You're like, shit. You're like a black mamba. Lightning fast reflex. He starts shadowboxing for a moment. The man's definitely got energy to spare. However, I'm like a king cobra. You have met a match. Two apex predators now lock in battle. Oh, so you're seeing snakes? That will explain some. Before he's able to finish, a sucker punch knocks the air right out of his lungs. The old man slides down the wall. Before he can let out a groan, he's interrupted by a brutal kick to the chest. That's what I'm talking about. A fighting spirit. Even when you're cornered. Oh. Take a seat. Deep breath. Collect your thoughts before you speak up again. Remember where you put my wallet now? I'm pretty sure you broke my rib. An eye for an eye. A rib for a ribbing. Biblical punishment. It's only fair, homie. Fair, at least admit that this is a mocking. Wallet my ass. Still in denial. Okay, let's say I had about 5,000 bucks in there. Give me 6 grand and I'll let you walk away. Relatively unharmed. So you admit it. Admit what? That this is not about proper compensation. This is a robbery. Look, buddy, this is beginning to bore me. Unless you want me to go all Anderson Silva on your ass. Give me what I want. Anderson Silva? Yeah, Anderson Silva, a flying knee meeting your solar plexus. The man, the myth, the legend. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Thai boxing, Western boxing, Taekwondo, Wing Chun, and Capoeira combined into a single fighting style that can be only described as straight up murder. I've been studying the glorious singularity that is Anderson Silva for years. Every move I have, I owe to him. So if you don't want the snake to turn into a deadly spider, show me the money, honey. Summer 2013, Las Vegas. Huh? Watch it live on pay-per-view. Whitman saw through all of Silver's tricks, whooped his ass, broke his spirit, show him for a fraud he is. The man hasn't been the same ever since. All the empty showboating, hollow taunting, drunk on his own cool Jesus. Of course you idolize him, asshole. For a good minute, the goon silently looks down at the whimpering man at his feet, chewing on his lower lip. When he finally speaks up, his voice betrays an intent to kill. You know what, homeboy, screw the money. This is a matter of honor now. My thoughts, exactly. Huh. He raised his fist. We've got ourselves a mixed martial arts expert here, huh? For your own sake, I hope you can back that talk with some self-defense skills, homie. Take a chill pill. This is pathetic. That's enough. Boosting your self-esteem by beating up an injured old geezer? Ah, god damn, you're pathetic. He jumps at the sound of my voice, turns my way in the blink of an eye, and immediately assumes a combat stance. His reflexes are sharp. Looks like he has at least this much to back up all his braggadocio. Wannabe Anderson Silva's face betrays utter confusion upon seeing me. He's got no idea how I managed to sneak up on him. I don't blame him. I wouldn't be able to explain it myself. It felt like I became one with the darkness, my poor consciousness, traversing a dusky dreamscape, jumping from one shadow to another, as if they were different trains of thought. I think of some experience I've had with psychedelics, every blink an adventure. I was outside this alley. Blink. I was above the alley. Blink. Now I'm in front of this guy. And he pissed me off. The older man slumps down. Looks like he was trying his best to keep it together and gave up once the cavalry arrived. Oh, I need to rest a little bit. My throat is starting to hurt a little bit. Getting old is not fun. The goon regains his composure and barks at me in an overly gruff way. The hell you sneaking around here for, chica? Move along. This is between men. Not anymore. His fists turn towards me. I'm serious and an equal opportunity ass kicker. I respond to the threat with the brightest, most innocent, virginal smile I can put on. So, you're into shadow boxing, huh? Something comes over me. I can feel the darkness embracing me, whispering sweet nothings in my ear, pumping me up for what's to come. Reverse elbow, crane kick, low spinning sweep. I think I'll try this one. I've always wanted to try this. I zoom in, duck below. His fist and sweeping off his feet with a powerful roundhouse kick. It's probably the dumbest, flashiest thing I could have done, but I'm feeling more confident than ever. He flies into the air, only managing not to fall because of the wall behind him. I know what he's thinking. I should have blocked it. and he absolutely should have. But instead, he just flung his arms helplessly as if he suddenly found himself in front of an oncoming train. A primal expressions of fear that suddenly and completely took him over. I don't know how I look right now, but judging by his expressions, my best guess is like the gaping maw of some primordial beast. I followed the surprise attack with another punch to the solar plexus, or at least my nearest estimate. Once again, the effect terrifies even myself. Looks like my hunch was correct, and I hit the right spot. He falls to the floor, whining like a wounded animal, tears streaming down his face. I let him collect himself a bit, and then grabbed him by his chin. Learn to choose your battles, homeboy. Let me go! Let me... For Christ's sake, just let me go! I kick him in the direction of the alley entrance. He staggers off, quickly disappearing from my sight. I check on his victim. Looks like he's conscious. Wow, you whoop his ass, girl. Hasn't noticed anything out of order. Good, I was getting worried I might have overdone it a bit. That woman did say that keeping a low profile will be crucial if I want to survive. You alright? Need help? He managed to stand up. His smile is strained, but it suggests he's fine, or at least trying his best to seem fine. No, you gave me all the help I needed and then some. Thank you, miss. What's your name? Jessica. Thanks, Jessica. I was worried for a second, but this asshole bark was worse than his bite. He's probably in worse shape than me now. I guess that counts as a victory. Fucking hell. God damn it. I better be going. My wife is probably worried sick. But before that, if there's anything I could do to repay you. Just be more careful. Forget about it. Just be a little more careful in the future, alright? A true heroine always reveals compensation for her help. At least that's how I think things should go. Never thought I would help someone in a street fight. You're something else. Jessica, you never wanted to try your skills in the octagon? Too much in love with my gorgeous face to see it bruised, battered and swollen. Sorry. I hear you. Whatever you do next, God bless you. And there he goes. God, huh? I feel like one right now. No more worrying about being out after midnight. No more feeling uneasy whenever I spot a shady asshole across the street. Ever. Fucking hell, it hurts. I mean, it's not exactly hurting. It's making me hard to say words, say things. Hell, I could start jogging in Central Park after midnight now. Not that I need to. The future's looking bright. Okay, we have enough time for one more action. Whatever it is I want to go through, I have to make through. The risk of swiping right or go to the club. You know what? Let's do this. He lowers his eyes awkwardly, thinking how to proceed with his plan. So, it's like the conversation isn't really smooth, yeah? It's like I keep throwing shit against the wall and seeing what sticks, but nothing seems to stick for long. You understand, yeah? Uh-huh. Oh my god. It's really this lack of context that's killing me about online dating. It's bad enough when a few photos and a single sentence are all you have to rely on when starting a conversation. Yay? Okay, maybe I'm way into characters now. Yeah, I'm pretending to be this dude. It works pretty well, right? But when a cosmic miracle finally happens, and she's actually willing to keep replying to you, and she's actually down to meet up eventually, and you're out there sitting with her, and after 90 minutes, you still don't have that shared context. Just no clue whatsoever. It's just like, take me out and put a bullet in my head and put me out of my misery. I hear you. So it's just one of those dates. And it's like we've been sitting here for ages. And the only thing she has a prolonged interest in is getting as hammered as possible. Just one drink after another. And the more drunk she is, the more familiar she's getting. It's these little things, touching my upper arm after each choke, her arm around my shoulder, her jokingly punching my waist. This escalation is subtle, but steady. In addition, one recurring topic appears, and that is all the cool shit she has and wish she could have shown me. Oh, too bad it's all back in her apartment. That's when it hits me. She just wants to fuck. Sleep with me. This happens with Tinder. Yeah, when you meet someone on Tinder, this happens sometimes. Yeah, well, eventually we both run out of ideas for topics that could potentially be interesting to the both of us. So I'm just like, yeah, I would sure love to see all that crap in your apartment. So we were there, and it's an admittedly pretty nice apartment, like nothing too fancy, but I can tell her dad is a kind of asshole I would like to punch in the face if I ever met him. You know what I mean? So she guides me to the kitchen and makes me some tea, a rare Indian blend. Forgot what it was 5 minutes later. Then she excuses herself and goes to the bathroom and doesn't come back. 10 minutes later, I run out of tweets to read and become a little concerned. I start looking around. The first thing that catches my eye is the kitchen table. And the table is surprisingly large, and it's covered in neatly arranged documents, like some connect the dots, investigation board, mafia conspiracy kind of thing. Naturally, I take interest. It takes me 20 seconds to process what it is. Her entire mental health story, sorted chronologically with all the juicy stuff neatly underlined in color. And I mean entire. It's all in there. A detailed description of her fuck-up household situation over the years. Anxiety, ADHD, bouts of depressions, suspicions of schizophrenia, severe BPD, some weird psychosexual stuff with her brother. I keep reading and remember what I said about throwing shit against the wall and seeing what sticks. I'm dead certain that's how her shrinks went about diagnosing her. She finally comes out of the bathroom like an hour after she went in. At this point, I have read all the shit on the table 3 times, and not just the stuff she has highlighted for my convenience. And I feel like right now I understand her better than like someone who has read Crime and Punishments understands Raskolnikov. And I'm not happy about that like at all. You know what I mean? She walks in with a cheerful hi. I respond with a slick, all good. She nods. There's this weird finger gun thing, and chuckles. I pretend I've been doing work related stuff on my phone the whole time. The small talk starts. A minute in, she casually picks up one of the documents on the table, and she starts doing these super obvious body language cues that are like, oh no, how did you get here? I'm practically dying inside, but I put on my cool face and make it look like I'm not here. Sorry, gotta reply to my boss. Yeah, it's working 24/7. Psycho motherfucker, yeah? Ha ha ha. She slowly collects all the documents, puts them away, and then nonchalantly asks me something about Tommy Impala. While I'm feeling crushed by all the kinds of trauma I have just learned about. The apartment starts feeling like a coffin. All of a sudden, she picks up a kitchen knife and starts playing with it. With this zone out stare, I'm fucking mortified, so what do you think I did? You slept with her? Of course I slept with her. That's how the worst 6 months of my life began. And I couldn't even say I didn't see it coming. God, I'm such a slut. He leans back and groans while hiding his face behind his palms. I look at his neck. Every vein seems so visible and impossibly alluring. I don't think I ever look at anyone's neck like that. I realize I feel insanely thirsty. Damn. I know. Your show took a turn. Years ago, when this rant began, it was about continental philosophy. What? Sorry? Can you say that again? He's pretty drunk, barely able to focus on anything but his current train of thought. Just what I was hoping for. Years ago, when this... Never mind. Listen. It's stuffy in here. I want to go out. Get some fresh air. You haven't touched your drink. I mean, I would if I could. No more alcohol for me. What? No, this one is not mine. I mean, some dude bought it for me, but I don't want it. He scans the room with a dead stare, looking for the guy who did it, not realizing his best chance of fighting him is in a mirror. Then he drinks like a half my glass at once while looking around, as if he was hoping to prove his dominance over an unseen enemy. Okay, after you. We are walking across a mostly empty street. He's focused on keeping upright and walking in a straight line. I'm focused on finding a spot where I can drink him up. You seem like bad news. Oh yeah? So why don't you just leave me alone? Determinism, I guess. I roll my eyes, and that's when I notice it, a deep underlit stairwell. I look around and realize there's no one around. This is my chance. I immediately yank him downstairs. It's almost pitch black, but I can still see his face. He doesn't seem shocked. It's more like awkwardness. No, listen, it's not that I never wanted to do this sort of thing in public. Quite the opposite. It's just that I need a certain degree of comfort to perform at optimal levels. Oh, shut up. I sink my fangs inside his neck as he whimpers and becomes silent. Finally, that's what I've been waiting for the past hour. He relaxed in my arms, and I relaxed with him. It's like all the drinks I had to deny myself until now are hitting my head all at once. With no unpleasant side effects, I feel radiant. I don't want this moment to end, but it has to. I drop his body to the floor and lick the wound closed. Just the way she taught me. His pulse is faint, but steady. He reeks of booze. If anyone finds him, there should be no suspicions. As I walk up the stairwell, I insert a finger into my mouth and try to sense my fangs. No dice, it seems they really are retractable. Wow, that's handy. The hunger pangs are gone. I rub my hands around my body. I feel comfortable, hopeful, happy. Can't remember the last time I enjoyed life like this. Now, let's keep this party going. Wow, what a night. I watch Times Square from above. It's beautiful. Never thought this place could make me emotional, to be honest, but here I am, feeling deeply moved. Who would have thought? Getting up here was surprisingly easy, all things considered. Took more thought than physical effort. Earlier tonight, I started experimenting with this body's limits. I realized I can jump over small buildings and climb steep walls with ease now, and my whole perception of space has shifted. I planned a scenic route across the rooftops. I did my best to avoid attracting attention, just as I was told. Stay in the shadows as much as humanly possible. I spot a drone from afar. For a second I feel uneasy, but I remember what she told me. Machines won't get a clear view of me anymore. Camarilla photos, it's all glitch out, all blurry. Wouldn't take it for granted if I didn't try to catch my reflection earlier on. I couldn't see my face clearly. Not in the mirror, not even in a puddle. My face was like one of Dallas clocks. She told me to keep a low profile regardless. Someone might take note and track you down. She didn't care to elaborate, but it didn't sound encouraging. Suddenly, it hits me that I might never be able to see my own face again. I won't even be able to take care of my looks by myself. And what about the long-term psychological effects? A knot of anxiety tightens in my stomach. Jesus, this is probably just the tip of the iceberg. What else is going to change? Calm down. Wait a second. These past few nights have been the best of my life. For years, I was on a downward spiral. Feeling health, no future, a feeling of overwhelming powerlessness. Now, everything has been flipped upside down, a total paradigm shift. A bad ending is no longer the only option. I am actually looking forward to tomorrow. I forgot how that feels. Where it used to stand at mere seconds to midnight, the doomsday clock has been effectively turned off. A cold breeze brushed my cheek. As stupid as it sounds, I choose to read it as a word telling me to chin up. I can bend anyone to my will. I am capable of superhuman strength. I am master of shadows. I can do anything. Tomorrow night, I will be introduced to my duties. If everything goes according to plan, I will become a New York City representative of Clan La Sombra. Whoever they are, whatever that means, I have no idea what to expect. But tonight is tonight. I'm free. All my worries from a month ago feel like they belong to someone else. Finally, things are looking up. Whew. March 2020. Back at it again at Big Beat Burger. Familiar sounds, familiar smells, familiar face. Yet again, I'm recalling that night when everything finally seemed to change for the better. I mean, it's not like I wasn't expecting everything to go back to the old, depressing normal. Even in the thick of it, the rational part of me recognized my state as temporary. But with these highs, there's always a hope it won't end. Or maybe that an ego death will finally occur. Be satisfied, you stupid fucking bitch. I command you. Here's all the logical evidence for why you should be satisfied. Here's the obvious direction for your life. And here's the detailed explanation of how you should treat the people that care for you. No dice. I always fall back into the same old habits. It's like they were encoded deep in my DNA. The aimlessness, the powerlessness, the spiritual exhaustions, these goddamn fast food trips, the stupid fucking self-loathing now amplified whenever I drink somebody's blood. Maybe I should just blame it all on the misfortune of my birth. You do this social climbing until you dissociate, and then you're just this untethered, constantly frustrated ball of dumb desires. Except I'm sort of immortal right now, and I need to figure out what to do next. I watched this obscure Asian movie once. Ella Lama Sabachthani starring Tadanobu Asano, one of the coolest guys in the world. He plays this Merzbow-like figure, a legendary noise musician. There is this mysterious virus spreading around the world, causing despair and mass suicides. A rich CEO's granddaughter gets sick and longs to die, so he spends a fortune searching for the cure. Turns out, Asano and his friend, played by this violent onsen geisha guy, are traveling through Japan, searching the corpse-strewn towns and fields for any unique item that can produce beautiful sounds. As it turns out, the avant-garde walls of noise they create are able to heal the infected. The CEO begs the band to help, offering them all the money they want, but for some reason they refuse. Through a series of flashbacks, concerts, and vignettes, a mystery unfolds. Eventually, we realize that Asano's music is not just a remedy, it's also a cause of the virus. Whenever it connects with people, they get this hunger for more extreme, more novel experience. And eventually, they hit a wall. Nothing can satisfy them anymore. They lose their will to live. Not even the musicians are spared from this curse. They know the end will come, sooner or later. The girl is saved by a mind-blowing concert, but the tragedy is merely postponed, not averted. The last shot of a Jesus-like Asano silently considering his role as savior and destroyer. Stay with me. The form of the film is abrasive. Little to no narrative coherence, some weird cartoonish creative choice. The Japanese noise soundtrack, the very free form and hard to understand weave of themes. But at this point, movies like this are all that truly connect with me. I'm the New York City representatives of the La Sombra clan, now also known as the Night Clan. They are master of shadows, who cast distorted reflections and make modern tech go holy fuck. Oh, I'm sorry. and make more than take go haywire in their presence. Jesus. Last year, a few months before I was embraced, the La Sombra had joined with the Camarilla, the biggest and most traditional sect in the vampire world. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the Camarilla is a clan we play in the first game, right? Coteries of New York. And I still kind of remember the ending there. That game was brilliant. And this one is also brilliant. I mean, just look at the way they're telling the story. Just look at how well written every freaking single sentence is. The two groups actually used to fight each other, but our leaders found some intel that made them reconsider their strategy. So they sent a diplomatic mission to parley with their historical enemies. The deal they got in Chicago was simple. An unlife for an unlife. For every La Sombra vampire allowed in the ivory tower, one La Sombra vampire has to meet the ultimate end. I still remember the name of the woman who met her final death. So I could begin my unlife. Her name was Hester-Reed. I was one enemy of the Camarilla, a guerrilla fighter who spent decades opposing them. She was someone with far better principles than mine, from what I've gathered. Well, whoever she was. Her execution by my sire served to convince the NYC elites to give us La Sombra a chance. Then they set out to look for a mutually agreed upon candidate who would become the clan's rep in the city. My sire searched for someone who gave the impression she was more than she appeared. The local court was looking for someone they could walk all over. After long negotiations, they decided I was a good compromise. They proceeded to systematically destroy my entire life, just to make me show I was psychologically strong enough to join their ranks. The turncoat special, they call it. Somehow, I succeeded. Fuck. And it eventually led me right back to where I started. I stopped writing and put my pen down. Whoa, Valerie. She's still here. She's still alive. Will that be all? Oh, don't even tell me the events happening right now happen at the same time with the events in, Coteries of New York. Yes, Miss Duval. I hope you enjoy your stay in London. Well, I very much doubt I will. Just like every cultured person. I think the only good Englishman is a dead Englishman. Fuck off, serial killer. Privileged scum. Just get the hell out. Not interested in a small talk with someone as sociopathic as her. I finished the formalities in silence. Fucking hell. Well, oh, god damn it. We all know how dangerous she is. I mean, if you guys have watched my gameplay walkthrough of the first game in this series, you would know. That will be all. Tell Kadir I said hello and farewell. Safe travels. Don't let the door hit you on the way out, psycho. Oh well, I'm the lone La Sombra in this town, and my representational role means jack shit. No title, no perks, no whatever. Right now I'm the court's gopher, doing all sorts of work nobody else would touch. Fucking hell. Yep, you're cleaning someone else's mess again. just like the old days. My main duties, being a sort of immigration officer. See, New York City is probably the biggest vampire travel hub in the USA, and definitely the biggest one on the East Coast. Almost every kindred arriving from Africa and Europe comes through here. The local Camarilla is nuts about bureaucracy and population control, so what is wrong with me? I mean it. I know I said that my throat is not feeling well. How long have I been speaking again? Maybe over an hour? God damn it. I remember the time back in the day where I can just sit around playing video games and talk straight for about 5 hours. Now barely over an hour and then this fuck up. Ugh. Where were we again? So every vampire living or arriving in this town is supposed to check with me to inform me about their travels. Well, in theory at least. The VIPs play by the different rules. They take care of the stuff through connections and servants. But for the smarter fish, I'm like a vampire statue of liberty. The first bloodsucker every kindred coming to NYC should see on paper. Anyway. The first, after the prince or Kadir, the primogeniture council, these things vary. Yeah, I'm a naturally traitorous La Sombra, so they still prefer being traditional and hands-on about these things. As I said, at the end of the day, I'm just a gopher. And this work only serves to remind me I'm not quite in, just standing at the gate. Wait, this sounds oddly familiar. Okay, you're now also a freelancer, working in this vampire society. Just like before. They haven't even given me an office. I just meet everyone in public place, such as coffee shops or this fast food restaurant. Some consider this an insult and lash out at me. But luckily, most of them understand we're in the same boat. Only here because we are cursed who need to be reminded at our place from time to time. Speaking of, my last client is 15 minutes late and I still have more errands to run tonight. This is getting irritating. To be honest, I should just find some self-respect and leave. But I won't. My sorry upbringing left me with a stupid sense of responsibility. 10 more minutes pass. Eventually an unfamiliar woman appears by the door. She tells someone to stand by the door and walks in. Ooh. Long chestnut hair, body stuck in her late teens. By the look of it, a fashionable scarf covering most of her face. Elegant clothes, dignified walk. I signal her to sit in front of me, trying my best not to let my impatience show. She obliges. Took your time. Here to check in? You're here to check in? I am. Julia Sawinski's, I presume. She's scanning her surroundings like we're at a circus. I hope you won't mind if I make it quick. I am needed in Alcide. Name Catherine Weezy. I swear I've heard that name before. Someone else's description up across my mind. That weird lady who owns the but it's never there. Weird. So it is her, Catherine Weezy, the owner of the art hall, de facto headquarters of the New York City Camarilla. For fuck's sake, Julia, what are you doing calling her weird right off the bat? God knows you've already made a fool out yourselves in front of enough VIPs in this city. Recover. Oh, fuck. Yeah, just in case you're worrying, I'm getting sick because of coronavirus. Well, fuck you, I'm not. I'm just getting sick of talking. I'm getting my throat. Feel like getting stabbed by some sort of ridiculous small knives or something. Okay, I just want to finish this. I want to reach a part where I can end the video, and then when we come back next time, everyone can keep on, watching the next step, the next epic part or something. I don't know. I'm sorry. It's just that I still don't know many people there, so I have to go by the descriptions I'm given by the members of the promotion. Well, the description is mostly correct. Outside of that one word that slightly perplexed me. Pod, calling the kettle black, sounds like. From what I gather, it's just that the interests are rumored to be not fully aligned with Camarilla's, and it irks some folks out there. Being a keeper of the Elysium is not enough for some, I see. I suspect as much, but what can you do? She seems chill. Good. Anyway, Catherine Weezy. Wow. Yes, want me to spell it? People often have trouble getting it right. Forgive my indiscretion. It's just that people of your stature usually don't bother checking in with me. They usually report their arrival to one of the promotion, and they make all the arrangements. I heard Prince Panhard is busy with the preparations for her big party. I assume that if I spare her some paperwork, she would appreciate it as a gesture of goodwill. Besides, I wanted to meet the infamous La Sombra representative out of sheer curiosity. My interest peaked once I heard about her. She looks around knowingly. Unique circumstance. Yes, Prince Helene Panhard had trouble justifying the exorbitant rent my property would need. That is literally pennies worth, and as far as I know, she's been sitting on an empty property since last year. Looks like they've got it out for you. Bad. That's what I assume, but it's nice to get a confirmation. Well, it's not like my clan has ever been particularly popular in these parts. At least that's what I have heard since of the fathers, and so on. Yes. Just to make sure you have never met Hester, but you know her. I do know I wouldn't be here if I'd not for her. Have you two met? No, I only heard of her once or twice. We had similar outlooks on many issues, although we tend to come up with completely different solutions. In any case, I think it's meaningful that Hester died so that you could leave. They fear her. Now they fear you, and that's why they're keeping you down. If anyone who's not a VIP said this to me, I would laugh in their face. Oh, I get what she's doing. She's trying to buy my favors. Best not to act like I'm easy to please. Stick to business. Time will tell. In the meantime, I need you to help me out with my documentation. Of course. So, where are you coming from? Washington, D.C. She says that the way people in Hollywood movies says it, the way that suggests that Washington is wildly different from the Washington you and I would see. What were you doing there? Take a guess. Government work? Write that down, it ought to amuse you. Helene, a little bit. If you say so, date and our arrival. She takes out plane ticket and slides it towards me. It's all here. 1 a.m. Got it. Method of transit, plane, purpose of visit. Meeting with Prince. Ought to work just fine. I guess estimated duration of visit. Undefined. Right, in 6 months if you really need to. Place of accommodation, conditions of intended stay. The art hole. Conditions should be adequate. You tell me, I tend to be happy with okay. Airborne? Airbnb? What the? Home sweet home? I'm not certain that I ever felt particularly at home here. That makes 2 of us. Curious. Do you have nothing holding you here? The face of a blonde-haired friend appears in my mind's eye, then vanish. There's nothing holding me anywhere. I see. A prolonged silence. She stares into my eyes, and I return the stare. She is studying me. It's unnerving, but I do my best not to turn away. Eventually, she smiles. Didn't you say you were short on time? Oh God, yes. Kadir will kill me. I quickly begin to collect my stuff from underneath the table. You can simply inform him I paid your visit. He'll understand and he will pass it on to everyone who should be in the know. Do you need anything else? I'm fine. I was about to ask you that myself. You are the one asking questions here. That's all from me. Good. We'll see each other soon, I hope. The party tomorrow night. I wasn't invited. She gives me a pitying look. I understand. Well, if not given the opportunity, we should make our own. I'll be in touch. Good night, Miss Weiss. I wish you a pleasant stay. Good night. And don't rush these things. You've got your whole on life ahead of you. And you are in a position where you can take it easy. Take your time. Get a different perspective. I nod and walk slowly out the door. When I lose sight of the restaurant, I sprint toward the subway. Slow night? I wish. You're late again, by the way. I hope you have a good excuse. Kadir al-Asmi, the mighty sheriff of New York City, is not happy with me. No wonder. I met him in front of a and we had agreed on. Yeah, well, Catherine fucking Weiser decided to arrive fashionably late. A likely story. She's supposed to be out of the city. If you think I'm pulling your leg, well, feel free to check my report. I pass him all the official papers the way I do every other night. Kadir stares me down for a good few seconds, then his steely gaze softens. You are serious? Who is in McDonald's, with a mask and elegant clothes, surrounded by the smell of French fries and hamburger patties? That must have been one hell of a sight. Technically, it was BBB, not McDonald's. But yeah, God, I made such a fool of myself. First thing I did, I caught somebody calling her a widow. I wanted to die on the spot. Imagine. Oh, imagine the embarrassment. Serves you right, you walking fast past. I've been trying to teach you to control your tongue, but you never learn. It's a new gaffy every week with you. Still, there's good news and bad news. The good news is, Catherine has a fondness for vampires of humble beginnings. Probably why she decided to see you in your, shall we say, natural habitat. She's one of those rich art scenes asshole who seek out working class crap. I did say something about watching your tongue. The bad news is she is very astute. So she can recognize a moron like you straight away. You never stood a chance at impressing her. Oh, shut up. You still need me for anything here. I get on it straight away. I wouldn't be standing out here chatting with you if I hadn't taken care of my duties. 30 minutes is all it took to finish preparations for the big party. I'm about to see everyone off. Sorry. Couldn't be helped, I suppose. It is more your loss than mine. I just wanted some company tonight, and you could really use the chance to appear here on official duties so everyone get to know your face. Heaven knows your fast food job isn't going to get you anywhere. You need to, what do they call it? Hustle? You don't need to tell me that, but it's not like being paraded around for a bunch of blue blood douchebags is. He somehow managed to give me a painful nudge in the back without so much as a hint of visible movement. Language, you fool, they're coming out. Just stand here in silence for 5 minutes and focus on not embarrassing yourself any further, will you? Oh, got it. The first two silhouettes appear in the doorway of the art hall. An old man in a wheelchair, pushed forward by his young servant. Haven't seen either of them before. Mr. Payne, the night is still young. Hope you find the rest of it pleasant. Payne, the wheelchair. I have heard about him. Addison Payne, one of the American Camarilla's main connections to the government and Wall Street. Disabled in quite a few ways. Needs a servant to communicate. I before resented it. I was embraced in this condition, but apparently Payne is nothing but grateful for his immortality. He keeps writing fervent defense of the traditions and Camarilla customs. Good night. Enjoy your stay. Stay safe. Good night then. Good night, Mr. Payne. He wordlessly shakes Cody's hand but doesn't even deign to acknowledge me. At least his servant gives me a small bow. I return it, but leave. Kadir turns to the next person leaving. Hi, Regan. Can't wait to see you in your outfit. Oh! I know her. Yes, we know her. I mean, if you have played the first game, Coteries of New York, you should know. Spammy, sheriff, these fancy dress parties caused me enough suffering without your help. I can only hope you haven't conspired with Helene to embarrass me with this gift. She points to a shrink wrapped set of clothes she's carrying inside her coat. Kadir smokes briefly. I didn't have to. As you all know, Prince Panher displays a considerable foresight in the matter of planning. Yes, if there's one thing she's deadly serious about, it's frivolities. A recognizably model quality, especially for a prince. We ought to celebrate it, not oppose it. Don't worry, Sheriff, I'm a big girl who knows the etiquette. I'll play your game, amuse the crowd a little bit, and return to my study as fast as possible. Ilsling Sturbridge, hired Regan of the Chantry of the Five Boroughs, a hero of the Battle of New York, the biggest warlock in town, could be a prince herself if she didn't have her eyes on a bigger prize. The thing is, nobody knows what that prize is. They only know it has something to do with the goal of her thaumaturgical research. Whoever tried to find out what it is failed violently. Oh, I'm sure you're going to have fun. Miss Sowinski here has just informed me Catherine Weezy is back in town. It is safe to assume she will join our festivities. You're kidding me. She did say she will attend the party. It's not safe to assume, it's certain. She told me she will be here tomorrow night. Easy. Excellent. I would love to catch up with her. The barely concealed venom in her voice clearly suggests that in fact she would hate to catch up with her. Yes, it looks like tomorrow night will be very special. But for now, I bid you adieu. And she's gone. He says some kind of story between them that I should be aware of. You could say that. Harry Regan Sturbridge once attempted to call for a bloodhound on Weezy. Wow, why? I've heard 5 different versions of the story, and all of them seem plausible. Catherine's relationship with this city is odd, to say the least. But hush for now. He's obviously trying to kill the conversation. And the appearance of Thomas Arturo gives him a perfect way out. Mr. Arturo. Ah, I'll ask Middle. Keep up the good work, eh? Yep, the mastermind. Oof. You, sir. I still remember you. Of course. Thomas Arturo, an architect by trade. He's a herald, a member of Prince Penance Inner Circle, an eccentric whose thoughts seem to be 10 times faster than his words. Good night, Mr. Arturo. Ah, yes. He disappears into the night. Well, that was brief. Maybe I should stand in their way. That might force them to probably acknowledge my existence. You severely underestimate their dedication to ignoring whelps like you. And just in case you're serious, I beg of you don't. I've been meaning to ask you this for a while now, but never had the opportunity. You really hate Arturo's guts, don't you? He carefully measures his diplomatic response. I have no strong feelings about Thomas Arturo whatsoever. Yeah, well, considering you are always listing positives about every local Camarilla representatives under the moon, you might as well have called him a cunt. Language, whelp. And as for Arturo, I will share my opinion about him as soon as I come up with one that sticks for more than a week. A group of kindred emerge from the archway. rushing towards the street. Only a noble-looking woman stops next to us. She's wearing a hijab, but curiously enough, doesn't hide her hair beneath it. Primogen. If you were rude enough to stare, you would quickly notice the cloak serves mostly to cover up her horrifying scars. Kadir. Oh, and young Julia. I'm doing my best not to stare because Samira is one of the few NYC Camarilla figures who hasn't been an asshole to me yet. Still here? Did the prince require the clan of the Huns counsel in some matter? Yes. I advise her that no matter how hard she tries, she shouldn't expect me to wear a different costume tomorrow night. She is the Banu Hakim Primogen, just like the La Sombra. Their clan was independent from the Camarilla until relatively recently. However, they negotiate a better deal than we did. They have a Primogen, for one. Hailing from the Middle East, the Banu Hakim are drawn to the practice of justice. The rules must be upheld, and every transgression punished. They don't have much say in NYC, but the prince often seeks their judgment. It's just good PR. I trust she was understanding. Those are beautiful clothes. Thank you so much. I am eager to see the outfit you came up with. And how are you, Julia? Have you seen any lights at the end of the tunnel? Yeah, I have seen one. And I'm pretty certain it's a train. Sorry to hear that. I trust you're pestering the prince and your superiors to improve your standing. It's a process. Oh, Julia, you won't achieve anything if you don't keep reaching for it. Kadir, when you're supposed to teach her the ropes? I'm trying to Primogen, but with this child, it's always a process. I can only wish you good luck then. Good night, Julia. Good night, Kadir. Good night. Have a safe trip. The art hall has to be almost empty by now. You like her, don't you? Stop with your class clown act. Wow. It only serves to reveal deep insecurities. Wow. That's harsh. It's factual. Well, as harsh as you claim. She did tell us both to call Samira, but you're still keeping your distance with that promotions shit. Watch your profanity and don't project your fantasies onto me. I won't give you a lesson about professional boundaries, but I suspect the way you will eventually learn it will be extremely unpleasant. Am I interrupting something good, folks? Even though I'm constantly pestering him, Kadir's composure is unshaken. His response comes swift and unfazed. Not at all, Mr. Van der Weyden. Heading back to your office? You know me, my dear sheriff. Where else would I go? Okay, this guy looks extremely dangerous. A vampire in a suit? Heading back to his office? Oh. Now, that is curious, even though Carter Van der Weyden is a promotion as well. Markavian, to be precise. I don't hear Kadir address him as such. Hope to see you tomorrow night. Oh, I will absolutely show up, provided I can, but just in case. I already apologize for not making it to the prince. Simply drowning in work these days. The rhythms tempo, and intonation. Patterns of his voice are so familiar. Half of it sounds like JFK, the other half exactly like Barack Obama, just like his appearance. It all feels so fake. His old money, of course, comes from a long line of Dutch merchants who originally settled in the New York region, runs a wildly successful law office, rubs elbows with elites of both kindred and kind varieties alike. He seems perfect in every way, and that's why it's so unnerving. He's a child of Markov and must be blighted with some affliction. But whatever it is, he doesn't let it show. Hard not to wonder what he's hiding. The celebrations are planned to last all week. Surely you will find the time? I pray I will, my good man. I pray I will. In case you need to reach me, you know where to find me. Have a good one. It doesn't even register my presence before leaving. Sometimes I think they're all still hoping I will simply go away. As Carter drives away in his limousine, Kadir shakes his head. You wanted to hear about which member of New York says Camarilla I dislike the most? Yes? He shoots me a knowing glance and smirks. Too bad, they're all my dear colleagues. And I deeply respect every single one of them. Sure you do. Wouldn't want to blurt out something that could lock you out of Mr. Van der Weyden legal service, would you? You ass kisser? Holy fuck. God. When will this end? I do expect to find myself in need of a good defense attorney when my broke, incompetent, and foul-mouthed assistant finally pushed me over the edge. Rude. If you still need me here, I still need to swing by St. Patrick tonight. Don't worry, we're almost done. The prince is coming out. The captain is the last person to leave the ship, huh? And there she is, Helen Penner, the big kahuna, as someone I once knew would call her, the de facto ruler of New York City, and a self-professed patron of the arts. Kadir, a penny for your thoughts. You should be pleased to hear the hierarchy is resigned to her fate, my prince. Mr. Van der Weyden is decidedly not. I suspect he will be too busy to join the festivities all the week through. Excellent. She turns to me. Miss Sowinski, weren't you supposed to accompany Uncle Sheriff in his duties tonight? There was an unexpected change of plans. Catherine Wiese is back in the city. Catherine is here? Now that is a welcome surprise. But what does it have to do with you, Miss Sowinski? I took care of her paperwork. She said she didn't want to trouble you with all the paperwork regarding her arrival, Prince Penner. It's all been taken care of. Kadir has already been informed of everything. That's certainly a nice gesture, but wait a minute now. Where exactly did you meet her? In a fast food restaurant, my prince. I see. Helene rubs her eyes. Catherine and her love for proletarian amusement. I suppose it will be a source of amusing anecdotes this week. If we want to avoid these situations in the future, it might be a good time to discuss offering Miss Sowinski an office of her own. We'll get to it eventually. There are more pressing matters at hand. The festivities start tomorrow, and there's still so much to be done. Will you make sure the art robe is secure before leaving? Certainly, my prince. Have a good night. Good night, Kadir. Good night, Miss Sawinski. We'll talk about your work soon. Don't worry. Of course. Good night, Prince Panther. A chauffeur escorted her to a limo. There's an awkward silence between me and Kadir until the car disappears around the corner. More pressing matters, huh? A penny for your thoughts, Sheriff? I'm certain an image of a keeper of the Elysium stuck in a fast food restaurant will linger in Prince Pennant's mind. You were far closer to your goal than you were a few minutes ago. I'm pretty sure I've heard you say something to that effect a few times now. And I stand by my words. Rome wasn't built in a day, Childe. As a Camarilla loyalist, don't you think it sucks that the Ivory Tower is so hell-bent on showing disrespect to my clan? They're actually willing to make fools of themselves in the process. We've all had to endure our own hazing rituals, but yes, the current situation is not ideal. Whatever, you need a hand closing up the Elysium. I manage. It's getting late, better run. Some shadow in Chicago is probably impatient to get a copy of the reports you have given me. You have pleased one master, now it's time to please the other. Yeah, here's the thing about working for two masters. Neither of them really thinks of you as their own. Not knowing how to reply, Kadir shrugs. I wave to him goodbye and head for the subway. When I reach St. Patrick's Cathedral, I'm greeted by a voice that grates on me like teeth on tilfoil. Well, well, well. The prodigal daughter returns. Oh my god, no. This is the one thing I didn't want to happen. Julia, please. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord, thy God, in vain. Where's Father Leonard? His clergy duties kept him from getting here on time. He sent me to apologize in his name and keep you company for a few minutes. That's the second thing he ought to apologize for. He just wants his flock to live in unity. I am more than willing to oblige him. I warn you. For the last time, I'm not a part of his flock. We have a purely professional arrangement. I know you see it that way. The Night Clan's tendency to stick close to the Catholic Church is their greatest virtue. But they still consider this relationship purely instrumental. This is why we need kindred like you to bring the spiritual change to your clan, to make them understand God's precious gifts. The closer they would get to the light, the greater their shadows would become. Again with his insufferable sermonizing. Bernard Segal here is a local nutjob and an ex-artist, a degenerate who had some sort of complete mental breakdown in the 90s. To recover, he took to religion for solace and guidance. At first, he proclaimed his readiness to devote the rest of his life to studying not decent. Wait, what is that? After a few years, though, he changed his mind and joined the Catholic Church instead. As luck would have it, his neophyte zeal found a major target in me. When I first met him, I was stupid enough to tell him I was raised in Catholic and still identify as such, somewhat. He immediately pictured me as some sort of a force for change within the Camarilla and set out to put me back on the righteous path. Now he won't stop preaching to me apparently until I become a nun. Remember, the darkest place is directly beneath the candle. You turncoats have this unfortunate predisposition to find salvation right within your grasp, and then lose your way in the shadows. Christ, once he starts, it just won't stop. I guess it's time to bring out the big guns. By the way, I was meaning to ask, got any news about Sophie Langley? A painful grimace crossed his face, but doesn't linger. Kind of rude to change the subject, you know? Rude. I'm just looking for a topic both sides of this conversation would care about, you know? Like any guy on etiquette says in your shirt. Salvation is a topic close to anyone's heart, whether they admit it or not. And it's pretty bold of you to assume I still care about Langley. I do not assume, I'm certain you do. The second she retires from the public eye, you'll stop acting like Jesus era Kanye and start acting like Jesus is King era Kanye. Coincidence? Okay, I don't understand what she just said. Can anybody explain to me? I've never had a Jesus era. Do people really call it that? That's how it's going to work. Tell me what you know, I will tell you what they say. And keep in mind, I didn't know she was your sire. Oh, until a few nights ago. Hell, I haven't even met her. He winks a bit at me, saying Helen, but let it go. Sure, I figured you would have prodded that one long ago if you knew, but what do you care anyway? Better to let you drone on about your tormented past than to let you carry on with your good missionary stitch. Professional curiosity. Once a journalist, always a journalist. He scratches his head, then exhales in a sad mockery of a chuckle. Fine then, I'll do my best to make it short. Just like you said, Sophie Langley, every New York kindred's below, socialite was my sire. We first met sometime after World War II. I left France right before the Nazis went around the Maginot Line. I struggled to keep my siblings alive with my art. Watched my brother die during the flu epidemic of '43. I was close to losing my mind. That's when she showed up. Said the sheer torment in my words caught her eye. She became my patient, allowed my talents to flourish, and supported me financially. Eventually, she embraced me. As a well-off kindred, my artistic interests start to naturally deviate from what they used to be back when I was a poor model upstart. I began to see the world the way a social circle does, and that she couldn't forget. Instead of being a fun novelty, I became just another part of my lives surrounding her. She grew distant and then stopped seeing me altogether. I've had my share of meltdowns because of this. I won't deny that. I locked myself out of many career opportunities, but it was an important lesson. Don't trust your elders. Vampirism affects them psychologically as well. If they take an interest in you, they won't stop until they suck your soul dry and then discard you like a broken toy. For the first time since I've known him, cigar registered to me as something other than a Bible-thumping nuisance. Is it compassion I feel? Do I find it relatable? How dreadful. It is possible he is strategically trying to elicit sympathy. Fuck. Maybe he heard about my dramatic exit from Lodesta. Or maybe he's just alluding to the way my sire left me here to fend for myself. And it's only God who will never lead you astray. This is why I find your act so frustrating, Julia. You're so close to getting it, but you choose sin instead. There is the Benoit cigar I know almost had me fooled. Let's get back on track. What about Lane's disappearance from the city? Her path was a road to perdition. Wherever she ended up, I doubt she's too happy about it. She had plans for the future of the city, wanted to make it her ultimate artwork. She was always the vain one. And of course, you are completely sure you have nothing to do with her disappearance. Please don't tell me you're getting at what I think you're getting at. Everybody says you've been acting like you are trying to repent for something ever since a vanishing act, and you've got a motive. Of course I'm getting at what you think I'm getting at. Bernard shakes his head. You really have the devil in your heart, Childe, always testing me. Just asking what everyone's thinking. Are they now? Listen, I'm familiar with a lot of the insults attached to my name in the city. Those aren't exactly compatible with the image of a ruthless killer. Killer, huh? Now that is interesting. I haven't said anything about killing. He scrubs his hand over his forehead and collects himself before responding. Stop picking apart every word I say in this completely unpleasant way. Here is a statement if you really want one, Miss Hercule Poirot. I do believe Sophie, the way I knew her, has met her end. Even if she's still walking this earth, she wouldn't come back here as the same prideful aristocrat. She would have to undergo a spiritual rebirth. Someone has reminded her of her place. A former friend told her in hushed voice. Even that servant played toy of her went missing. No more Camarilla parties. She is done for. Whatever happened to her? I don't know. I swear on Jesus and his sandals, I had nothing to do with it. Well, lucky for you, I'm one of those players. Who had already played the first game and know exactly what happened. Oof. But yes, I'm still here, and she's not. And it's not a reason to gloat, but to be more humble. I received a sign from God telling me to re-examine all the unfortunate ways I still resemble Sophie Langley. And I listened. I rejected the pride I shared with her. I renewed my vows to God, recommitted to preaching His greatness. I mean, this is why we're having this conversation in the first place. Right now, when I think of Langley's influence on my life, I am grateful because she was a sign that got me here. And if God wills, maybe one day you'll look at her the same way, Julia. Meant to note, whenever it circles back to this preachy tone, it is time to intervene. Alright. If it makes you feel any better, I think that the only way a wimp like you could have hurt her was by boring her to death with Bible quotes. Now then, quid pro quo, tit for tat. You were saying people still talk about me. I was curious if... Oh, look who's finally here. Stalling for time, what? Father Leonard rushed in our direction, carrying a folder of documents under his arm. I assume it's the one I came here for. Father Leonard. Christ be praised, Julia. Yesterday I was told this is how priests greet their parishioners in Eastern Europe. Forever and ever, amen. Actually, I think we said each other's lines. Never mind. Another long night. Isn't it taking a toll on you? No need to worry. These days, I sleep a few hours a day. Short naps take care of the rest. And there's always work to be done. I apologize for being late. At least, I managed to get here before you and Bernard went for each other's throats. Good. I was getting worried. Oh, who do you take me for, Father? He takes you for a total bozo who's about as effective at converting people as a documentary about pedophilia in the Catholic Church. He's just too kind to say it out loud. Fucking hell. You and your fucking mouth, Julia. God. Ouch. Hear what I have to deal with, Father? But don't worry. We'll make a saint out of her yet. Forget saint for now. I would settle for an adult in the room. That's what you are for. Isn't that what you are for? I've been patient with that role, but by now you kids should be moving out, not leaving crayon marks on the walls and throwing food around anytime Dad is not looking. So let's just focus on our own grown-up duties, shall we, Julia? Here. He gives me a folder he was carrying with him, and I pass him the reports I wrote earlier tonight. Among kindred, it is common knowledge that the Catholic Church is one of the Stonebrook's greatest assets. Hell, it might even be one of the main reasons the Camarilla is slowly warming up to the clan. We are technologically impaired, and as such woefully unprepared to face the challenge of communicating in the 21st century. Hard to handle advanced encryption when you can't even unlock a smartphone. This is where the Vatican connections enter the picture. A web of priests scattered all around the world exchange our dispatch between each other, making sure they all reach their destinations in total secrecy. I was told not everyone in the Holy See is friendly to our kind, but the most shrewd and talented usually are. You could say they're like a model Camarilla, better than any intelligence agency. Remember what happened to John Paul I when he attempted to uncover the workings of the Institute for the Works of Religions? After 33 days of papacy, rumors of CIA and Masonic involvement. Not that Father Leonard has anything to do with any of this. For a Catholic priest, he's alright. He would probably have made me stay a believer a few years longer than I did, had I known him as a teenager. Leonard is intelligent, kind, helpful towards his parishioners, treats his superiors with a healthy dose of skepticism, and is not involved in any sort of political church games. Or at least not beyond helping me contact my bosses in Chicago every other night or so. He knows about the kindred, and he knows about the Second Inquisition. He opted to avoid the latter in order to keep the former from oppressions, because according to him, it's the right thing to do. I know there's got to be something wrong with him, some selfish motivation maybe, and I haven't nailed it down yet, but it doesn't feel like he's making an effort to hide it, so I'm giving him a pass. By the way, I hope you don't mind, I finally took the liberty of asking how your parents are doing. Thank you, Father, but you shouldn't have. Not a problem. A priest at St. Stanislaus Kafka is a good friend. He says your parents start showing up every Sunday again. Front rows. Your father is looking better and better. It makes me feel nothing, but I still give him a token nod and a grateful smile. Thank you, Father Leonard. Now, if you excuse me, the sunrise is almost here. Yes, be careful and God bless you. Amen. Goodbye, Julia. I'll let you off the hook this time, but next time, you won't be so lucky, alright? Sure, just one more thing on my never-ending list of events I'm not looking forward to. Guess it's time to call it a night. I'm home. Oh, this is Dakota. Finally, you doing alright? Fine, I guess. Why aren't you asleep? I figure it's finally time for me to become more of a night owl. We have talked about making our schedules sync better. Watch your vitamin D. I would kill to have your skin. It would be a shame to waste it. Shouldn't have smoked so much before you got bitten, sweetheart. Should have shared your skincare routine with me back when I was still breathing. I can't just be going around sharing my one secret weapon. It's top secret stuff, MK Ultra level. Jeffrey Epstein's current whereabouts level. I would have to kill you if I told you. Love you too, honey. Okay then, love you too, honey. Come on, what's with the attitude? Nothing, I just thought, we're beyond hiding secrets from each other. I guess I was wrong, but okay, I get it. I really do. Time out, you're not really mad, are you? Nah, it's just my inner asshole teasing you. Never mind. I feel a little more self-conscious than usual tonight. Don't you want me to do your makeup before you go to sleep? No need. No need? When you're supposed to have some sort of big party tomorrow night? I was involved in the backstage stuff. What makes you think I was invited? Because you are the coolest, cutest, and most all-around amazing person I know? They would be insane not to put you on the short list. Believe it or not, but most vampires are pretty insane. Interdimensional psychic vampire level insane, because that's how crazy they would have to be to ignore you like this. Yeah, I would say so. Fuck them then. A big bunch of posh dicks. They hate you because they ain't you, but they will see. Jesus, how do you do it? Do what? You always assault me with so much of this weird, stupid positivity that I can't react to without completely shifting my mental attitude. How do you do it? Oh, the answer is easy. You remember how I told you we have this spiritual connection? I can sense what you feel and want. You can sense what I feel too, if you really focus. So Dakota is an empath, it seems. Yeah, I think I call it a big lot of bullshit. Said a girl who talks to ghosts, but watch this, Agent Scully. I sense you feeling down and realize what you really need to end this night. She points to one of her drawers. It's the one where she keeps her supply up. The timing? Come on. What? No, wrong drawer. We're not meeting demons, we're meeting angels. MDMA? Ding ding ding! Took it half an hour ago. Perfect timing, thanks to our spiritual connection. Ready to fly away? The mood isn't right. I would need music. Got a special SoundCloud playlist ready to go. Prepared specifically to uplift one Julia Sawinski. Just give me a sign and I press play. Jesus, you are impossible. That's why you love me. I hope. I give up. Come here, let me have a taste of you. Maybe this one time, the high won't end. Alright. Once I press, it will be a new day. Alright guys, we'll come back next time.